Please get ready for our next sponsor session.
Hello, Dynamics community. My name is Madison Zulywitz, and this is my colleague, Liz Hallen. And we are here to talk to you today about our Doug Meetups. I know it has been a very fun and full day of education, so we're here to talk a little bit more about Doug.
Awesome. What are we going to talk about today, Madison?
So today's topics, we're going to do a quick introduction of Liz and I. We're going to discuss what meetups are, how to join, and how to become a leader if you're interested. We're also going to talk about some meetup sponsorship opportunities and have it open for questions at the end.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the awesome introduction, Madison. As she said, my name is Liz Hallen, and I am the Vice President here at Dynamics User Group. I have been a part of the business application community for 24 years and about a half. I don't know really anything about the products, but maybe a little bit of CRM, but that was a long, long time ago. Very much involved and have been since day one with the community and user group aspects. Born and raised in North Dakota, still live there today. You'll see my fun fact. I live in a very small community in North Dakota where my nearest Walmart is 75 miles and my nearest Target is 150. Yes, Amazon is my friend. I also am a mom to Jackson and Jenna. My two crazy teenagers who keep me definitely on my toes, as well as my three fur babies, Molly, Skittles, and Rolo. In my spare time, I love to just hang out with friends and family, especially at our lake cabin in the summer, and also doing home improvement projects in the winter months because it does get cold and boring and dreary around here.
Thanks, Liz. And my name is Madison Zulywitz. I am the event coordinator at Dynamics User Group. I'm actually new to the Dynamics 365 space. I've worked with a little bit of a technology background before, but first time in this space. And I definitely see why everybody says that once you get into the space, you tend not to leave. I completely get why now. It is definitely a great community. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I am a dog mom to Sutter. He definitely is not as tiny as he is in that little photo there anymore. He still thinks he is, but no longer a tiny little puppy. I love hiking and traveling, cooking, gardening. I'm not very good at either of those two things, but I do enjoy it. And I just love spending time with friends and family. And a fun fact is that my husband is actually from Cape Town, South Africa. So we'll go and visit there a good bit. All of his friends and family still live there. So added a few photos of that as well. Definitely a beautiful place.
Very cool, Madison. Thank you very much. And why are we all here today? We're here to talk about meetups. And at the end of our presentation, both Madison and I will share our contact details with all of you so you can get in touch with us anytime to talk about Doug Meetups. But really, what are they? So Doug Meetups, this is our connection point, I guess, for all of you who are here watching either on the live stream or the recording afterwards. It's our local user group communities. Dynamics User Group does support all of the Dynamics 365 products as well as Power Platform and GP, Dynamics GP, if any of you are GP lovers. But our meetups are really a way for you to connect with partners, customers, ISVs, and even Microsoft at your local level. In addition to the locals, we do also have some industry meetups as well as role-based meetups. So those are all very fun. One of the great things about the Doug Meetup program, however, is that it is free to attend. It's always free to lead. We're a huge believer in free education and networking for everybody in the Doug community. To date, we have 48 groups across 13 countries. So this is definitely a worldwide initiative for us, and we continue to grow every single day. If you check out our meetup page, which we'll have a link for you here in just a little bit, you will notice that on average, we are hosting about 10 to 15 events per month. And this is all in huge part and thanks to our wonderful local volunteer leaders. Madison, what will people hear about at some of our local groups?
So we have all different topics that range with different Dynamics 365 products. We have some groups that focus on multiple different products and they're all cross-functional. And others are super specific and just stick to one. I kind of put some highlights here as to some of my favorites that we've had recently. We have a Doug for Gov, which is U.S. state and local government. They recently had a meetup about empowering survivors. Louisiana State Police, they presented on how they use sexual assault kit tracking with Power Platform. It was a super interesting call, and getting to hear how different people use Power Platform was very interesting. We also had our mentorship meetup group. They had a call about how you could go from invisible to influential on LinkedIn. So they talked about a ton of different LinkedIn tips and tricks of how to be more noticeable on LinkedIn and how to gain traction to your account. Kenya had an integrations and AI bootcamp. St. Louis had an AI and modern ERP. And Enterprise Center of Excellence, they had a meeting on success with estimating your D365 programming. So we try to keep these meetups fun. I included some photos here as well. We have some regional meetups as well as local meetups in the photos. My favorite is the bottom right photo. One of our meetups went to Top Golf, and that's where they held their meetup for the month. So we try to keep them fun. They got to enjoy some golf after their educational session. And it's just really awesome to see all of the different kind of communities and cultures that each specific meetup has. And it's definitely ranges from different areas as well. So how to join. If you are interested in joining a meetup group, Liz is going to be sending a link in the chat. You can visit this link and basically find your area on the map or whatever area is closest to you. You'll click on your little red dot and it will bring you to your location-based meetup. Now, not all of them are location-based, and I'll get to that in a later slide. Liz, did you want to go ahead and go to the next slide for me?
Absolutely.
Thank you, ma'am. So once you click your little red dot, it will bring you to a page that looks like this. This is what we call our meetup platform. So you can click to join the group and make sure that when you join the group, you select that you want to get all of the notifications from Meetup, because that's how you know about the upcoming events. So you can kind of explore that specific group's Meetup page, learn about that specific group, what they talk about, and what their events are like. Some people or some groups will plan their events for the entire year. So it's a really great way to kind of see what upcoming events are coming and mark it in your calendars. And like I had mentioned before, not all of them are location-based. So we do have some additional groups that focus on industry or role-specific groups. So some of those are, we have our marketing professionals. They focus on Dynamics and Power Platform for marketing roles. We have our Doug for Manufacturing group. They focus on Dynamic and Power Platform for manufacturing industry. Our Doug for Gov, like I had mentioned before, is Dynamics and Power Platform for U.S. state and local governments. And then our D365 Center of Excellence. So this is great if you have or are planning to implement Dynamics and Power Platform, particularly at multiple locations. So again, not all specifically on the map. And if you have any trouble with finding these specific meetups, please feel free to reach out to me or Liz, and we can help you get acquainted with the leaders there.
Very cool. So tell us a little bit about what it means to be a leader.
Yeah, so we are always looking for new leaders, whether it is an existing location or you don't see your area with a little red dot on it on the map. We are always looking to expand and open to having new leaders. Our local meetups are run by our leaders, so they find the date, the agenda, the speakers, and you basically get free range to plan your meetup event and what you think is important to talk about in your local area. You'll also get some support from Doug as well. So Doug is the one that is the host of the Meetup group on our Meetup platform page. So we'll help you get situated with all of that. We will market through our personal networks as well as social channels and emails to all of the Doug members. I specifically will help facilitate all of the logistics for your meetup. So if you need help finding a venue or you want food and beverage delivered, I'd be more than happy to help with that, as well as Doug handles all of the financial transactions, sponsorships, and venue contracts, and funding for the meetups. So specifically as a meetup leader, you would help figure out the date and agenda flow. You would help suggest venues and provide the online meeting link if it is a virtual meetup. Identify and secure content and speakers, and help market personally on your own LinkedIn or reaching out to members in your community who you think would want to join. And all in all, between us and you as a leader, it'll help facilitate a successful event.
Absolutely. And Madison, you mentioned that we provide funding, and what that means is we help with your venue costs as well as your food and beverage if you're looking to have lunch or breakfast or a social hour. But how the heck do we do that if all of our events are free? We do have a Meetup sponsorship program. I will say, though, that we do not require sponsorship from our groups. A lot of our local leaders would prefer to not, but we do ask and allow some of our partners and ISVs to come in and be a sponsor for our local groups, really to help us fund the program and continue to offer those venue and food and beverage things. So just a little bit about the Meetup sponsorships themselves. If you are a partner or ISV who is watching this right now, our sponsorship does cost $1,500 per Meetup event. That will give you a 30-minute presentation on that event agenda. And you also get exclusive branding and visibility rights as the one and only sponsor for that particular event. And we also do share the list of first name, last name, and company name of the people that register for that event. And so we do love our sponsors. And really, because it's not something that is required of our leaders, we do treat it a little bit like a matchmaking activity. And what I mean by that is a leader will come to us, they've scheduled their event, and they say, hey, we're totally open for a sponsor. Can you help us secure one? Or maybe they say, we had XYZ ISV come to us and they really would be a great fit for our next event. We take that information. We do have a list of partners and ISVs that are open and available to sponsor. We do keep track of that and note your product of interest, if there's multiple, as well as the locations that you and your team are willing to serve. And if we can find a match, and if that sponsor is available for that particular event and date and time, then it becomes a match and we take it from there. We definitely like to make sure that we are matching a sponsor with the agenda content, because we want it to be valuable for everybody that is in the Meetup group and for that particular event. So really great process for us, and we do appreciate all of our sponsors because they do help us keep our program running and on offering all of the support and benefits that we can offer to our volunteer leaders.
So on top of having our local meetups, we also have regional meetups, which are a little bit larger in scope than the local ones. So this is typically a full day event where we have multiple different breakout rooms for all different tracks. We have a sponsor hall usually and include coffee and lunch for all of the attendees. So it is a full day of education and networking. They're so much fun to attend. And we have recently announced the rest of our 2024 and all of our 2025 regional meetups. So I'm going to run through those real quick. We have our Canada regional coming up on November 26th 2024 in Toronto, Canada. This is going to be an awesome event. It will be, like I mentioned, in Toronto, Canada. So bring your sweaters. I have heard that it is getting chilly there. It will be super fun. The leaders there have been awesome in planning a great day of content. We also have our Southeast Regional Meetup that is coming up in January of 2025 in Tampa, Florida. We already have a good bit of registrations and they continue to keep growing. So make sure to secure your spot as soon as you can because there is a limited amount of tickets for that. We have a Northeast Regional going to be in February in Massachusetts. And all of the ones that say more info soon are all subject to change as well. We're trying to iron out the details now. But these are our goals of locations and dates. We're also going to have a Colorado Regional in April of 2025 in Denver, Colorado. I know our Denver folks are super excited about that one. We will be going to Ghana and Kenya in July, which we are so excited about. I believe other than Canada, this will be our first time having regionals outside of the country, outside of the US. So we are very excited about that. We're going to have another one in Ohio in August in Dublin, Ohio. Texas in September. We're going to be in Dallas, Texas, and again in Toronto, Canada in November of next year. So super, super excited about those regional meetups. Liz will be attending our Canadian regional meetup coming up, and I will be at the Southeast Regional in Tampa in January. So please join us. It will be super fun. Like I had mentioned, a great day of education and networking.
Yeah. And just to point out with our regionals, huge shout out and thanks to our local volunteer leaders. They're the ones that are really sourcing and creating the agendas for each of these regional events. That's in addition to what they're doing at the local level. I think I see Lokesh here in our chat. He is one of our local leaders for the Southeast Regional coming up in January. So thank you, Lokesh, and Mary and Beth and the whole team. I know I'm forgetting a couple of people, but would love to see all of you at one of our local events or even one of our regional events coming up within the next 12 months. That was pretty short and sweet. The Meetup program is not complicated by any means. And so we are definitely here if you have any questions. I know we have about a 20-second delay between the stream and what's showing to all of you. So we will hang on here for just a minute and see if there are any questions. But Madison and I are always here. You can reach us at our email addresses. Our cell phones are posted here, and we can add those to the chat as well. So we'll just hang on for a second to see if anybody has any questions about the Doug Meetup program.
Even if you don't have a question, we'd love to hear in the chat as well if you're a part of a local meetup and what local group you're a part of or what regional you're most excited about. Mm-hmm. We love hearing feedback and liking to see where everybody's from.
Madison, I'm going to drop my contact information into the chat. If you want to do the same with your own, it's probably easier for you to type your cell phone number than it is for me.
Probably so. I will do that now.
Fantastic. And if anybody is interested in becoming a leader, we, as Madison mentioned, are always looking to add more groups, grow more groups. We're very, very interested in doing this. If you're interested in being a leader, please let us know. It's super simple. It's super easy. We are here to be your support system and your cheerleaders. They do see a couple of questions in here. I see that we have one person in the chat that only has access to the virtuals, no local group. Would love to know where you are located, and maybe we've been talking to some people about that. There is one in Central Missouri, that's right. There's one in St. Louis, and there's also one in Kansas City, which is, I think, kind of close. Mm-hmm. But again, always willing to talk to anybody. Really what we need is an individual or 2 to 3 individuals who are willing to step up and really take that volunteer role for us and help us grow that group. And we'll be here to support you in any way that we can. Yeah, that New York City area is tough. We do have a lot of interest in that area, but what I've learned is that New York City is really hard to get around in. And haven't had wonderful and great success on having in-person events there. So it seems like maybe virtuals would be a good option. Always willing to try some new things and see if we can get community together. I know there's a lot of people in the New York City area that have connected with us and they're interested in starting a group, but it's really just getting started and getting people to get around. Yeah, I know it's difficult to know. New York City was hard to get around.
Can you believe it?
Maybe we should indeed. Yes.
We should just have everybody meet in Times Square, and that's where the meetup is held.
There you go. There you go. Mike, maybe we could do a virtual one, and that would help.
Oh, and also a note as well, for all of our virtual meetups, if they're recorded, we'll post them on our YouTube. So there's always great education sessions to tune into on YouTube if you're ever curious, or if you ever want to just listen in on another meetup. We have tons of virtual meetings all around the world. So great to hear from different meetups.
Make sure you do join your local group or one of the non-location based ones. The non-location based ones are virtual all the time just because they're not local to any place. And by joining a local group under the Doug Meetup platform, you do get email notifications as a member of that group anytime a new event is scheduled. So make sure you join your local group. You can join as many as you want because, again, it is free. And we would love to see you at one of our local user group meetings or even one of our regionals.
See, we've got somebody from Portland, so that is awesome. Love Portland, and they have a local group there as well.
Very good. Well, if there's any questions, feel free to reach out to Madison or I, and we would be more than happy to help. Madison, anything I'm forgetting before we sign off?
I think that is all, but thank you all so much for having us today. It was great to present with you and hearing where everybody is from locally. So hopefully we can get you all set up in a meetup group if you are not. And if you already are, then you can continue to thrive in that local meetup group.
Sounds awesome. Have a great rest of your conference, everybody. See you in the community.
Bye, everybody.